Cecilia Hart, and I'm at Packard Museum in Warren, Ohio. This is the Kristal Hart Show.
Hi, I'm Kristal Hart. Welcome to the Kristal Hart Show. We are at the Packard Museum in Warren, Ohio. With us is the director, Mary Ann Porinchak. Also with us, Cecilia Hart. Do you have a question?
I forgot it. It's on.
Well, Mary Ann's going to fill us in on this evening.
Tonight's event was a fundraiser for the National Packard Museum. As a nonprofit, that is one of our primary focuses annually, to raise that $250,000 we need to operate, and to do that we have to have fundraisers. So this one was a really cool theatrical presentation where we had a cast of 7 people that were first-person enactors of Packard family members, and they told scandalous stories, the kind of stories that you really don't present in a regular program but are so much fun. And they all happened from 1900 to the late 1920s, so it was really great to have people dressed. All the guests came dressed in 20s attire, and we just presented all those great scandalous stories that were from the society pages, and it was in a setting as if we were in Bess Packard's living room. So it was lots of fun.
And this is the Packard Museum. It's located in Warren, Ohio, and tell them about all the different cars.
We have cars from 1900 to 1956 here. We are open noon to 5 Tuesday through Saturday, 1 to 5 on Sunday, and we have regular programming throughout the year. So if you're in the area, you must come to the museum and check us out. You won't be disappointed.
Mayor Franklin, can you tell us about the Packard Museum?
Yes, I can, Miss Hart, and thank you for interviewing me. It's the best interview I've had all year. And I want to tell you, this collection of great Packard classical cars is known all over the United States. And we're just blessed to have a board of directors at the Packard Museum who gives functions like this where we can learn history, look at this great collection of cars, and let the whole community know what we have in our own backyard. So it's very exciting to know the history that I learned tonight. I happen to live in work in the Perkins Mansion, but I never knew about the marriage proposal between the Perkins family and the Packard family until tonight. So it's great to have this kind of experience, and you're doing a great job as well. And thank you so much for your interview.
We're here at the Packard Museum, and this is the Packard family and some of the scandals and stories. And who do we have here?
Well, I'm Judge Gilmer, Thomas Gilmer, and I handled a lot of the legal problems and a lot of the estates for some of the well-to-do in Warren, including the Packards and the Adams and the Page.
And here in Warren, Ohio, for our audience, the Packards, tell them about the cars, that the Packard cars were started right here in Warren, Ohio.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about it, the Packard family and the Packard Motor Company back in those early years of automobile manufacturing, and then later on Packard Electric, really it helped put Warren on the map, because even today there's thousands of residents here who are retirees from Packard Electric.
And we have some of the Packard cars behind us. At this museum, you can come and see all this fine work.
Oh yeah, we have some really significant Packards here. We just recently received the 7-passenger limousine that was in Washington, D.C. and was used in 3 or 4 of the presidential inauguration parades. And last year we also acquired the Howard Hughes Packard convertible that he gave to his fiancee, Jean Peters, back in the day. And so we have that right here, too.
Oh, yeah, and she didn't like that one, did she?
She didn't drive it much.
It's the pink and white one, because I took a picture in it once. We love it.
Yeah, she didn't drive it a lot, so you can look at it and see it's the really original condition, just the way it came out of the factory.
And tonight they are having a little fundraiser, and your character hasn't come up yet, has it? Or
No, not yet. I'm up next, though.
you're up
Yeah, we're
next,
gonna-
and just tell us a little bit about your scandal, and you're helping out of some of the scandals.
Yeah. Yes, actually, I'm going to be talking about the fact that the grandfather gave the family a little bit of a black eye because he was a partner in a major construction company that was actually building the aqueducts for New York City to bring the drinking water to New York City. But he fell on some financial trouble and eventually embezzled quite a bit of money. And to escape that scandal and prosecution, he went to Buenos Aires and stayed in Buenos Aires until he could get enough money to make restitution and pay all that money back. Never went to prison, though.
Is that because of you by any chance?
No, no. Maybe because he was just rich enough to keep it out of the headlines.
Well, we can't wait to see your performance.
Oh, thank you. It'll be
Thank
fun.
you. Here at the Packard Museum, now we have another character. This is all about the Packard family and some of the stories that circulated.
Well, I am Bess Packard, and you are at my party. It's a cocktail party of about 1929. My husband passed away last year, so this is my first gathering of friends and family, and we are having a little bit of a gossip sessions at different times. So J.W. Ward, that I called him, and Bess were married. We were married later in life in 1904, and we have no children, but he was very studious and very smart, and he has 40 patents to his name. But he was very, very shy, very introverted, unlike his brother Will, who was very outgoing. They were just totally opposite, but best friends all the way around. So.
And the Packard family, it was socialites, the elite of the area. As we said before, the Packard car. So
Yes.
much in this area, the development.
Well, the Packard brothers first started, their business was making lamps, which if you're in the business, they're lamps. I call them light bulbs. And that part of that business became part of General Electric that employed a lot of people here in Warren. Their second business that they developed was Packard Electric, which was the wiring for the automobiles. My husband invented a coating for the wiring because that was the problem with a lot of early cars was the wiring, and they would short out or wouldn't run properly. Well, he invented a coating for it, which is why the Packard automobile was one of the best on the road. So not only did they have the light bulb factory and the car factory, they also had the wiring factory. So they were very, very prevalent in hiring a lot of people in Warren.
And was it a happy marriage?
Oh yes, oh yes.
Oh, that's
It
nice.
was very, very happy. We had our summer home on Lake Chautauqua in Lakewood, New York. It was a beautiful home that he built for me up there. And then the one this home on Oak Knoll was also one that we designed ourselves. So.
We are here with Cornelia Wade Hall. Now tell us your role in this performance.
Well, I'm the granddaughter of the man who founded Poland, so I come from money. I live here on Millionaires Row, across the street from the Kinsmans, and I'm the youngest of 7 brothers and sisters. And in time, I become the only member of my family to inherit all of the wealth. But I'm a little snotty, coming from that aristocrat background. And although I'm best friends with Bess, who is hosting the party here, I just kind of really like to gossip. I like being mentioned, and ideally, I just like to fashion myself with the finest. And tonight, I tell the story of my cousin, Kirtland Fitch, who embezzled money from the Second National Bank and then dressed as a woman to run off to Boston until he was finally brought back to Warren and trialed and sentenced to prison for 5 years.
And Second National Bank is a big bank in Warren, Ohio. And what happened to him while he was in prison?
Well, actually, he was a very charming fellow, and he became close friends with the warden. So they would go out cruising around town, and the prison also lent him a rig, so that he could take a lady out on a date.
So this is a very colorful group of people.
As I joked with my character before, you can't keep a rich man down.
With us is Nina Erickson, the maid. Now tell me a few stories.
Well, the biggest stories is that Bess Packard, really didn't like her sister Carlotta. And in her diary, she wrote many mean things about Carlotta. And the one that made her the most happy was when Carlotta got fined, and it was in the newspaper that she had her dog run unmuzzled in Central Park and was to have bitten up to 72 people. Now, it was a little tiny dog, and it probably maybe didn't really bite that many, but it's in the diary. And Bess had a good laugh about that. Bess was very cerebral, educated, and her sister-in-law Carlotta went to finishing school. So they were very different people, and they really didn't like each other, especially when Bess married Carlotta's brother. So then we used a lot of inserts from Bess's actual diary to tell the story of her dislike for her sister-in-law.
Well, and that part, you said Central Park, so at this point they were in New York City?
Only Carlotta was. Carlotta was, after Bess and J.W. got married, Bess moved to New York City and was a Manhattan socialite. That's when that happened. Oh. But it made the Warren papers.
It made the Warren papers.
It made national newspaper, but it made the Warren papers. So there was just a lot of stories she had. So I was the maid, and I was not only Bess's maid, but I was her friend, her confidant, her nurse at times. I helped her with everything, and other than a short time when I was married and moved away, I lived with Bess because I came back because my husband cheated.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm Kristal Hart.
And I'm Cecilia Hart.
And we've been at the National Packard Museum in Warren, Ohio.
And this is all the time we got, folks. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye.